Hello, everyone. Welcome to the meditation space. You made it. For the next 20 minutes, give or take, nothing outside of this space matters. We're here. Go ahead and take your seat, take a look around, and ask yourself, is there anything in this room that is so distracting that I won't be able to sit for 20 minutes? If there is, feel free to pause and go fix it. Set yourself up with a nice, pleasant space. Okay, now that the space is functional and you are seated, are you comfortable enough to sit for 20 minutes? If not, readjust, get yourself into a nice, comfortable seated position. Okay, good. Today we are going to do a mindfulness meditation. Bring your attention to the present moment. Be mindful of what you are doing in this moment. Of course, this is a practice that doesn't have to stop when this meditation session ends. As you go about your day and you drive and you do your work for your paycheck and you eat and you walk from place to place, you can certainly be mindful of all of those things. You can eat mindfully, you can drive mindfully, you can do your work mindfully. But for now, just to highlight, you're going to mindfully listen to my instruction, but mostly sit and breathe. That's all you're doing, sitting and breathing. So that is what you'll be mindful of, because that is, for the next 17 minutes or so, your present moment. So we don't think about the past. We don't remember the past. But if a memory of the past arises, that's fine, because the only place that we can remember things is in the present moment. So if a memory arises, that's fine. You can note it if you like. If you find that that's useful, you can note it as remembering. And then come back to the present moment. And what do we find in the present moment? We find breathing and sitting. And we don't fantasize about the future or about a potential future or even about a future that couldn't possibly exist. We don't fantasize at all. But if a fantasy arises, that's fine, because the only place that a fantasy can arise is here, and the only time that it can arise is now. So, if you are fantasizing, then you may find it useful to make a note of it. You may note it as fantasizing. And then come back to the present moment. And in the present moment, you will find sitting and breathing. Sitting and breathing. And if your breath changes the way that mine does when you notice your breathing, when I start to pay attention to my breathing, it gets deeper. I don't do that on purpose, but from practices that I've had in the past, breathwork practices, when I pay attention to my breath, it automatically starts becoming deeper. And that's fine if that happens. But it's also fine if you're hyperventilating. I wouldn't, you don't do either of these things on purpose. Just breathe the way that you're breathing and pay attention to it. In and out. There may be natural pauses. They may be long breaths or short breaths. You don't have to make them long or make them short. Just pay attention to them. Because it's really the only thing that you're doing. Sitting and breathing. Now, if an urge to move your body arises, that's okay. Because the only place and time that an urge to arise can happen, let me rephrase that. The only place that an urge to move can arise is here, and the only time that it can arise is now. So that is your present moment if you have an urge to move. If you don't have to follow the urge to move, then don't. If you have to follow it, if you must move, then move. Don't spend any energy on resisting the movement. If you find yourself seated on the ground, feel the pressure of your weight on the ground. Feel yourself being held. Be mindful of the present moment. Sitting and breathing. If you feel a pain or a discomfort, it may be instructive. It may be telling you to correct your posture. Either way, it's fine to feel it because that is part of your present moment. Sitting and breathing. being mindful of the present moment. Feel the sensation of the air in your nostrils. It might be cool on the way in. Feel the sensation of the air as it leaves you. It may be warm on the way out, or it might not be warm or cool. You may just feel the pressure as it passes by. Sitting and breathing. You may hear sounds in your environment. I can hear a dog barking. Sometimes vehicles drive by. Even sirens, birdsong. You may hear the people next to you breathing if you're in a very quiet place with other people meditating. All of this is fine. All of this is okay. All of this is the present moment. You may hear the voice of your meditation instructor telling you to remember your breathing and your sitting. That's fine too. It's just another noise in the environment. It doesn't really get priority over the sounds of the dogs barking and the birds singing and the police sirens. It's just another sound. You can let the words quiet your mind, and you can focus your attention on breathing and sitting. And on the present moment and all of its sensation. breathing and sitting. Come back to the present moment. Being mindful of your breathing. Mindful of your body sitting. Aware of where you are. Breathing and sitting. And that's the gong, which means we have been sitting mindfully for 20 minutes. Feel free to stand up slowly, stretch out, move around. That's it for the formal practice, but keep in mind that you can be mindful 24/7. You can go about the rest of your day mindfully, you can fall asleep mindfully, and you can wake up mindfully. Thanks very much for listening. Urukundu.